And now, the competitors for your Greenville Panthers. A senior from Murray, Utah, Ethan Poole. A junior from Katy, Texas, Andres Esquivel Garza. A junior from Brookhaven, Pennsylvania, Matthew Roth. A junior from Frisco, Texas, Logan Watterson. A senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, Elijah Cruz. A senior from Richmond, Texas, Michael Avery. A senior from Full Shear, Texas, Kobe Cantu. A junior from Kansas City, Missouri, Jaxon Clapper. A junior from Cypress, Texas, Sergey Popov. A senior from Aubrey, Texas, Donovan Deviney. A senior from Orem, Utah, Zach Connolly. A senior from Houston, Texas, Ricky Mays. A sophomore from Gastonia, North Carolina, Kyler Hinson. And a senior from Knoxville, Tennessee, Jacob Foster. The Panthers are coached by head coach Zach Peters and assistant coach Dane Kramer. As your host, we would like to offer an invitation for you and for our student athletes. Please join us in a time of prayer. Lord God, we thank you for the gift of sports. Let our actions today reflect your character and grace as we enjoy the gift of athleticism. We thank you for the opportunity to host California and Simpson on our campus, and we pray for the safety and protection of all. We pray that we might honor you in all that we do, but especially through the demonstration of humility, patience, and self-control. May what we do here assist us in becoming better disciples in our journey of faith in Christ. Amen. We will now honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome, everybody, to the Virtius stream of the Greenville Panthers hosting the California Golden Bears and the Simpson Storm here in H.J. Long Gymnasium. This, to me, looks like a new venue for them to be competing in, so that's definitely exciting. Greenville is hosting their senior meet, so that'll be always exciting to watch. My name is Noah Neufeld, Cal alumni, joined here by Yaroslav Pachinka. Hey, Yaro, how you doing?
I know I'm doing great. I'm excited to see some exciting gymnastics today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, yeah. Likewise, I'm excited to watch this team compete. These three teams compete, two of which brand new teams in the NCAA. So excited to watch that.
Up first is the Greenville Panthers, led by head coach Zachary Peters. He's a former team captain from Nebraska, is now leading the Panthers for 4 years. He's the head coach of both the women's and the men's gymnastics teams. The Greenville Panthers are now in their fourth season and they're rising in the ranks, now breaking into the top 10. They're averaging a 306.1, but have a high of a 307.45 this season, and I'm sure they're hoping to keep rising that up. The Simpson Storm are led by seasoned coach Colin Payne. He was previously at the Naval Academy, where he earned Assistant Coach of the Year 3 times. He's now also in his fourth year of leading this brand new team. He's now joined by Christian Lunsford, in his first years as an assistant coach in the collegiate scene. I'm sure he's hoping to keep building on the team's momentum. The Simpson Storm, in their fourth season, finished 2025 ranked fourth in the CGA Academic Awards. This year, they're going to keep improving on their academic record and their gymnastics record. They're averaging a 293.4 and have scored a high of a 294.3.
Here leading the California Golden Bears, we have Brian Del Castillo, newly minted head coach for the Golden Bears. Excited to see him in the new role. We also have assistant coach Carl Zeen, who is in his third year as assistant coach. As well as Donathan Bailey, who's another new face on the coaching staff for the Golden Bears. This is his first season as assistant coach. All three coaches are Cal alumni, so it's definitely cool to see them come back and lead the program. Uh, I can vouch for Brian and Carl as coaches that I've had experienced, and they were definitely great, in tune with the technical details. So I always appreciated that as the athlete. Jonathan Bailey brings a lot of international and national team experience, which is highly valued in coaching, and he brings, a fresh look to the coaching staff here. Cal's averaging about a 311, 825, with a high score of 313.95. Currently ranked eighth in the country, looking to improve upon that average and move up in the rankings. I know that another big score that this Cal team has provided is a nation high score on vault, which is a 56.65. So super impressive work from those vault guys, killing it in the gym. One highlight for the California Golden Bears is a huge underclassmen group, including six freshmen, five sophomores. So definitely interested to see how these young guys step up in the lineups. Like competition has begun,
Looks like we're just
or they're
wrapping up the
beginning.
2 minute touch.
There we go. Looks like we'll have Cal on horse, Simpson on rings, and Greenville leading us off on floor. I think it's always exciting to watch Simpson and Greenville go up against each other. These two teams are relatively new in the NCAA, only in their third year, I believe, um, and already making a big impact. I know Greenville's had many NCAA finalists, so Simpson's also got some rising stars on their team, and excited to see them throw it down here today. Looks like we're just about ready to start on floor.
Looks like up first on floor is going to be Kyler Hinson.
Nice landing, about a 310 hop there.
Also starting off with a double front. With all the new rule changes, I'm probably going to be seeing a lot more
Beauty
double
on
flipping
that.
skills.
Yeah, I know that there's been some rule changes in the NCAA that encourage a lot more double flipping, most namely having to end with a double flipping skill on floor, which personally, if I had to do that, I'd be in trouble. It definitely sounds difficult trying to end on a double back or double pike.
Another new rule change this year has been needing to add in all these different transition passes and a scale or some other artistic element. What are your thoughts on that, Noah?
Honestly, I really like seeing it. I like seeing the athletes get creative with their transitions and adding their own little style to everything. So, love to see more of that artistic ability in the in men's gymnastics. Big double
There's
pike to
that double
finish off
pike.
that routine. He's hype.
Great start for the Greenville Panthers.
Yeah, it's like we have Ian Orion starting the California Golden Bears off on pommel horse. He is a Stanford transfer. So excited to see what he has to offer here on horse for the Bears. Nice scissor element there. Big circle. Looks controlled.
Wow.
Huge zone. That's definitely a risky skill. Full twist on one arm.
Oh,
A
and a
lot of things could go wrong
Businari.
there. Ryan's
Very high
flowing through this
difficulty.
routine right now.
Very smooth. Wow.
Smooth. I like the athletes that can really pirouette on the horse. I know that's a unique ability is to be able to really flare out. So love to see a little added style there.
Up on the rings now is Connor Jenkins, leading off the Simpson Storm, showing off his strength.
Now, Yara, I know rings was one of your big events when you were competing. What would you say your favorite skill on that event would be?
Oh, there's something to pick from. I'm going to have to go and throw it back to my old school days. Kazogi. You don't see them anymore.
Oh gosh. For the viewers who don't know, that's doing a double back on the rings with your arms still connected to the rings. So super difficult skill. As Simpson finishes their first routine on rings. Nice landing.
Uh,
He's going to be excited about that.
Good control. He picked up some swing in that handstand, but fought through it. Very difficult to do. So far, 3
Like we
routines and
have.
3 excellent hits.
Yeah, good to see. Always that starter role is really key for a team. Being able to start your team off with a good hit, nice clean set to get the energy going. You always want to rely on those starter guys to set the mood for the team. We have Davide starting off on pommel horse. Another stone there. We just saw Kyan do that skill. Looks like a common skill for the Bears on horse. He's got
Lots of
nice
high
open
difficulty.
hips.
High difficulty, but high reward. Oh, fought through that dismount.
Yeah, that's going to be a deduction, but still stayed on the horse, finished all the way through. So definitely looking to see a good score there for the Bears on horse.
Big Hamnet across on rings. with an excellent hold. Kip to L. So smooth. Simpson is
I
really
think, in my
showing off her
opinion,
strength.
that kip to L is a really underrated skill in men's gymnastics on rings. It can be really hard to execute well, and he does a really great job of right there, I thought.
A good kip is hard to find, but when it's done well, it's one of the nicest looking skills in the book. Another hit routine from Simpson.
Absolutely. Nice work. I think we just saw a routine on floor from Greenville. Had to fight for that landing, but ended with a huge full in. So respect there, ending with a big pass. So we have Harry Kim starting us off on horse.
Oh. 2 Russians on one pommel. Don't see that too often.
Yeah, Harry is rolling now. Nice open hips. Getting a little closed there, but working to get it back to an open position on horse. Really like to see guys extend their hips, keep a straight line in their body, and finish off with a nice double twist pirouette on that dismount. He's excited about that. Nice.
One thing I'm noticing though is there's a lot of E dismounts this year, more than there were just a few years ago.
Yeah,
Do you
there's
think?
I think another rule change that we've seen in the NCAA is valuing the dismount a lot more. I believe you get more points in difficulty for doing higher difficulty dismounts compared to past years. So you see the gymnasts really trying to incorporate that into their routines.
Big connection pass from Greenville. Ethan Poole is
Nice
just
slate.
flying through this routine.
See another one of those scales there. That's part of the new artistic element. Rule sets in the floor rule book. Yaro, I know you were also another big floor guy. What was your forte? Would you say you were a twisting or flipping guy, or good
Oh,
at both?
I only wish this code had gone into effect earlier. I think I only did double flips.
Yeah, double flipping huge now in the new code of points.
Very nice double
Sky high
pike.
double pike. Nice straight planche for Simpson on rings. Legs were dipping down just a little bit, but nice chest position there. Fighting for a handstand. Those handstands, Yarrow, and rings, towards the end of the routine especially, you just feel like you can't feel your arms anymore. You've got the burning sensation going down, and respect to these gymnasts for pushing through, keeping good form till the end as he finishes off the nice dismount.
One of the most basic skills in gymnastics, but one of the hardest to do well. And Jasper Smith Gordon just finished up another beautiful pommel horse routine from Cal Berkeley. Noah, what are they doing over there? Do you have any insight about their pommel horse training? What are they doing that's setting them apart this season?
Yeah, I think especially seeing this lineup up here, looks like we had all four hits. Really exciting to see. I know in Cal they really like to stress their consistency on horse. I think that's one of the earliest events that we tend to start running routines on. I think that's the same across the NCAA. Is that's the one event where you can really push the difficulty and push the sets early on in the preseason to ensure consistency during the season. So looks like it's working out for the Bears.
Now Jaxon Clapper on floor, showing off his pommel horse moves down on the floor with a triple Russian. Another lovely connection.
Jaxon's had a great season so far. Had a great meet at Michigan not too long ago, scoring big on parallel bars and vault. He's really rolling through this floor routine as well. Big double
Good
pipe,
control
fighting
in
for
LA.
that dismount.
Last up for Simpson is Brian Rollison. Get ready for some real strength here.
Brian's one of those guys I was talking about earlier, rising stars on Simpson's team. Really great on the rings, so in for a treat here.
2 Maltesers.
Yar, what are you looking for on these Maltesers if you were to be judging this routine?
Yeah, I'm looking for the body to be absolutely parallel to the floor. And, if I was to put anything that can roll on his back, I wanted to stay in one place.
Nice, I like
Oh,
that. Oh,
unfortunate. Really excellent dismount, but just couldn't get it all the way around. Such a great routine.
he's going to be disappointed about that, but that dismount, although he did fall on it, looked huge. So it's something that I think that's a mistake he's not going to make in the future. And respect for putting such a huge dismount after a difficult routine. I believe that wraps up this first rotation. Yara, why don't you walk us through our scores here?
Yeah, the Greenville Panthers had a 3 out of 4 hits, led by Jaxon Clapper with a 13-3. We just saw him with a very clean, high difficulty set. Oh, do we have another routine here?
This might be an exhibition from Greenville. That's one thing that we like to do during senior meets is have these extra exhibition spots after the lineup goes. These scores don't count towards the team score in the event. However, as it's their senior meet, these are the last opportunity for senior athletes to compete in a home territory in front of a home crowd. So love to experience and see that here in HJ Long Gymnasium.
Senior night is always a very special event for the home team.
Absolutely. So wrapping up for a dismount here.
Found
Huge
his way
full in.
around.
Massive.
I'd like to highlight his non-acrobatic element, that mana that he did. Turning all the way upside down. Very hard to do.
Definitely an underrated skill again on floor. You do not see that very often, and it's very difficult to execute well. So props to him.
All right, rounding out the first event, Jaxon Clapper leading the way for the Greenville Panthers with a 13.3, followed closely by Kyler Hinson with a stuck routine and a 13.2. Lots of big gymnastics, clean gymnastics. Look at these execution scores: 8-5, 8-4, 8-4. These are gymnasts that are doing their absolute best, and we can tell.
Slowly. Here on horse, we have the Cal scores with Jasper's huge 13.75. He's definitely going to be happy about that one. We have a 13.6 from Harry Kim and a 13.25 from Kai and Orion. Rounding out this lineup, we have Davide with a 12.6. That last score from Davide, 12.6, most likely due to his dismount, but still on a horse, that's a hit, and that's a good score for us on Cal. I like to highlight these execution scores, especially from Jasper Smith Gordon and Harry Kim. Anything 8.5 and above on horse is great. You love to see that. You can really tell when you watch their routines, their extended hips is definitely key for those high execution scores. So love to see that.
On the still rings, the Simpson Storm, Brian rolls in 12.6. That's despite putting his hands down on the dismount. That just shows how strong he is and how clean that routine was. In second place so far is Alex Campbell. If you were watching closely, you would have seen a Maltese from him as well. Excellent gymnastics and fighting for those handstands, fighting for those landings.
Seeing that 12.6 despite the fall is definitely amazing. He's going to be someone to watch in the NCAA this season if he puts that dismount down. Starting off rotation 2, we've got Cal on the rings, got Simpson on the floor, and Greenville's moving on to the pommel horse.
All right, and with that, the 2-minute touch begins as we move to rotation 2. And with that, we're back for rotation number 2. Starting off the Simpson Storm, Garrett Alexander. A big double front to open up.
Working on that 2.5 punch lay. That's a pass that we've seen more of in the past few years. Another rule change where we value the twisting 2.5 punch layout connection, that layout granting a connection bonus.
With the most recent code of points, they've actually changed what the element groups are. We now have 4 element groups on floor. It's non-acrobatic element, elements with flips but no twists going forward, flips but no twists going backwards, and all twists. That was a great floor routine to start off the Simpson Storm. We move on to pommel horse, Jacob Foster.
Jacob's got he's definitely a more tall gymnast, but I think on horse that works in your favor. You're able to use that length and extend your hips and and makes the circling look really great. And he's swinging well here up into the dismount. Beautiful.
Beautiful
Nice. He's going to be happy about
routine.
that set.
I think I saw him hesitate there. He might have been trying to do a harder dismount and maybe felt that things weren't going in the right direction. And some quick thinking probably saved him a few tenths.
Yeah, that's definitely a veteran move right there. Can be the difference between a big deduction and a small deduction. So we have Theo on rings here. Theo rolled Goddard.
Excellent
Theo
control.
is Theo's on the Norwegian national team, and he recently competed in the European Championships for Norway. So he also brings that international competition experience to Cal.
Picking up just a
Nice
little bit
stable
of swing.
handstands.
And there's a stick.
Huge stick for Theo. He's hype. Look at this Sally. Love to see the athletes celebrate after a routine. Yara, do you have any celebrations that you like to go to when you were competing?
I just try to stay calm and hype up the next guy after me. What about you, Noah? You've just hit your best routine, stuck to the landing. What's going through your mind?
Definitely nothing really. I don't know. I feel like after you hit that nice set, stuck routine, you have absolutely nothing going through your mind. You just get hype and just go to your teammates and celebrate with them. That's really the best feeling.
And lovely clean lines on that pommel horse routine from Sterling Paritza up until that dismount. That dismount is taking names today. As we talked about, there's more reward for these high difficulty dismounts, but they're definitely riskier.
Absolutely. It's a classic risk reward balance that you have to take, and I think these three teams in particular, you can see they're maybe not as high difficulty as some other teams in the NCAA. But if you take a look at their execution scores, that's where you'll see that makes them really competitive. And I know that these teams pride themselves on their execution, their ability to do these clean routines. We have Troy Nuesca here on the rings. Solid straight planche. Definitely looks like one of those straight planches where if you had put something on his body when he was in the straight planche, it wouldn't be rolling. Like you say, Yara.
Yamawaki swinging up into the handstand, getting that extra 10th. Lovely giant. And another stuck dismount. Not the hardest dismount we've seen, but a stuck dismount is a stuck dismount.
Absolutely.
I think I just saw a
Raise
full
that
twist and
green
dive roll on
flag.
floor.
That's awesome. That's part of the new artistic elements on floor. I really enjoy seeing those. Full twisting dive rolls, definitely one of the harder ones. So respect to the athlete for putting that down.
An old school move that's making a comeback.
Jake's excited about that one. We have Tyler Hinson here on horse. Looks like another one of those taller athletes, but great extension in the hips on these circles.
Ooh.
And a double pirouette dismount.
And he was moving quickly. When guys are able to move that quickly on their dismount, they know what they're doing.
Definitely.
The Panthers are getting hyped up.
Definitely love to see that in the home gym, senior meet. I know for the senior guys, obviously, it's a huge moment for them. Last opportunity to compete in front of a home crowd in their collegiate career, possibly. Um, but for the undergraduate guys who are not seniors, this is just a moment to put it down for your seniors. I know that myself when I was competing and I wasn't a senior, but it was senior meet, I always wanted to do well and make my seniors proud. So I'm sure these Greenville guys are having the same mindset.
Back to the rings. Cal opening up with another excellent straight body planche.
I believe Sam is not someone we've seen in the rings lineup for Cal yet this season, but he's got some great strength skills in there and a nice stable handstand there before he prepares for his dismount.
Big double-double. Little low on the landing, but he saves it.
Nice routine. He's going to be happy about that one.
Now on horse, Matthew Roth with some of the best lines in the NCAA. Look, he's got this amazing extension and had great control of that dismount. Started to lose it, but brought it back.
Work. Those pirouette dismounts are definitely tricky. I think, especially when you're in a competition, you feel yourself start to go one way or the other. It's definitely risky to go for that double pirouette, and I think Matthew Roth does an excellent job there.
And a stuck dismount for Simpson on floor. Braxton did a great job on that routine.
Braxton Jones is another one of those athletes on Simpson that we've seen. Big floor vault guy. I believe he has a huge 2.5 on vault, so that's going to be something to look out for later on in this meet. Here we have Jackson Mitchell anchoring Cal on rings. Jackson is, I know personally, he's one of the strongest human beings I've ever known, and you can see that nice level Maltese there.
He doesn't let his shoulders get above the ring level, I'll tell you that. And a second Maltese. Really hard to do.
Yara, what is your thoughts on the rings in or out on the straight planche for the rings? For the viewers who don't know, you could do a straight planche on rings. That's your body in a plank position. You can have the rings with your wrists parallel or turned out. I personally had them parallel. What are your thoughts, Yara?
Gosh, I think I tried every single iteration to figure out how to do a good planche. And I think the best way to do it is the way that gets you to hold it for those 2 seconds without moving.
That's true. That's definitely the most important part. We saw Jackson Mitchell finish off with a big double-double. Had to fight on that landing, but kept it on his feet.
Rounding out the second rotation is Noah Doiron of Simpson competing in that 5th spot. He's doing this routine for his all-around score. This won't be counting into the team.
It's double full. Seen a lot of these guys do these scales. I feel like we've seen most of them do the scale facing forward with a leg behind, but there is another variation where you can have your leg to the side, holding it up so your body makes sort of a Y shape. If you were competing in this new code, Yara, which one would you do?
No, flexibility wasn't my strong suit. I'd be doing the classic T scale. One leg behind me, my arms in front. But I will tell you, the Y scale, when done correctly, it's a treat to look at. What about you, Noah?
I'd like to say that I could do the Y scale, but I think I might have to do the same as you. Typical T scale.
All right, and that's the second rotation done already. We're flying through this meet. Greenville putting up a. I'm just trying to take a look here. I don't think that the scores are matching up with. There we go. That's updated. 50.35 on the pommel horse, led by Kyler Henson with a 13.5 and Matthew Roth with a 13.45. If you saw those routines, folks, those lines are exactly what the pommel horse is meant to be.
Totally. And I'm sure if we were to see those execution scores for Greenville on horse, we see those last two routines from Kyler and Matthew have those high execution scores that I was talking about earlier, propelling them to those higher scores on horse. For Cal on the rings, they ended up with a 52.2 good score on rings, led by Troy's 13.25. Seeing all these scores right around the 13 mark, good to see from the Bears on rings.
And wrapping up for the Simpson Storm, we've got in the lead is Garrett Alexander and Jake Smith, both with a 12.5. I'd also like to highlight Braxton Jones's 12.4 with a stuck dismount at the very end of the rotation. What a way to cap off the rotation.
Excited to watch this next rotation. After this next rotation completes, we'll have all three teams finish competing on the first three events. So we'll get to see what the standings are on each event and who's taking home the event titles there. For right now, on the floor, the score to beat is the 13-3 from Jaxon Clapper on Greenville. On horse, looks like we have Jasper Smith Gordon from Cal with a 13.75. Huge score on horse, so it's going to be the one to beat. And then on rings, we have Troy Nuesca with a 13.25 leading the way. That is the score to beat. It's like the 2-minute touches started for the third rotation. We will be right back.
Athletes, your 2-minute transition starts now.
Looks like we're just about ready to kick off the third rotation. Here we have Tucker Yasunaga on floor. Beautiful stuck, double full, punch full there. Nice executed. I like when gymnasts can do that double full punch connection pass and stay in one line. Shows complete control over that skill. Another stuck landing there. Is he going for that golden sombrero?
How smart about the golden sombrero, Noah?
The golden sombrero in men's gymnastics, I don't know if it's a thing in other sports that we've applied, but it's when the gymnast sticks every single pass in their routine. It's a rare occasion. I've never been able to do it. Got close, but definitely the greatest feeling on floor for sure.
The smallest of
So far.
hops on that punch layout.
Nice control. Another underrated part of the floor routine is that press handstand. In a competition scenario, maybe one of the hardest skills on floor for sure.
And that double pike just floated in the air.
Yeah, that was very nice. I like how Tucker opened up out of that, really knew where he was in the air. Great routine to start off the Golden Bears on floor.
Tristan Shorey of the Simpson Storm doing some very intricate one pommel work.
Little break in form there, but keeping the flow, keeping the rhythm. Hoping for a big dismount here.
A hit is a hit is a hit. Hits when meets.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll notice that Tristan didn't do any pirouettes, and that'll be a lower difficulty dismount for him. But that dismount flew up, so not too much to take there. For Greenville on rings, we have Elijah Cruz. Nice flat Maltese, a little bit arched in the position, but that keeps it pretty straight.
A lovely Nakayama to cross. You know, one of those skills I could never figure out.
Looks very painful for your shoulders.
There's just something about it that would not click with me, but the guys that do it well, I'm always envious.
Elijah does a great one there. Nice L position there. You only need to hold that for about 2 seconds, but he's got some swing going, so he's holding a little bit longer, and a big full twisting double layout on rings. Hop back, but a lot of height and power in that dismount. That's a good routine for the Greenville Panthers.
Ouch.
Ball
Just
for
a
Cal on
short
floor.
landing.
Yeah, definitely stings the ankles there. Looked to be a good routine. He's gonna want that one back, but great showing for Kyan on floor.
Everyone falls. It's just all about getting back up. What goes through your mind if you're coming off of the event, you fall, you've still got half a routine to go? What do you think about
Yeah, I
that?
think it's easy to get into a mindset where you can give up on the routine. You know, the fall means you're going to get a low score anyways. But really, what makes I think NCAA gymnastics unique is it's a real team event. So even with that fall, your score counts for the team. So you need to make sure that you can finish out strong and do it as clean as possible. We saw a good example of that earlier from Brian Rollison on rings, who, despite the fall, still had a good score for Simpson on rings. So, you know, great example of how fall doesn't define your routine, but how you behave afterwards can. Here we have Ricky Mays on rings. He's another one of those strong guys. CMLTs from him there. Another Kippel. Respect. Stable handstands there.
Big
Ooh,
suck dismount.
love to
Hyping
see
up his
that.
team even more. Trig Dudley on horse, another big zone. Skill is very popular today. Oh, and just comes off on that flop combo.
Yeah, it's a shame there after a huge skill, but that's the risk reward that we were talking about earlier. He was looking like he was going for those more difficult skills on horse. And going back to the point about a fall, I think horse is one of the hardest events to really get back on the horse, both physically, literally, and figuratively, and to be able to reset and finish off with a clean routine, as Garrett's trying to do here. Looks like he's doing a good job of that. Open hips. Yeah, clean finish to that routine despite the fall. That's how you show up for your team.
Looks like the bench is behind the camera. Can't see the rest of the team hyping him up, but I'm sure that they're all clapping and welcoming him back to the stand.
Yeah, super key for the rest of the team to get behind someone after a fall and support them. They might have more events coming on later, and you want them in the right mindset and know that you got their back every step of the way.
Ethan Poole of Greenville up on rings. Showing off his strength. His body did get a little bit above the rings, but he's got really nice positions to make up for it.
Another one of those Nakayama crosses. It's cool. That Greenville has two of those in their rings lineup. Very impressive. Ooh, fighting for that handstand. Trying to get back to a stable position, which he does.
Another new rule change with this new code of points. The Yamawaki and the Yanesen were both devalued by 1/10. They were a C and a D respectively. It came down to a B and a C. You can get that extra 10th back if you swing up into a handstand after either one of them.
Which
Which
is
is
very
exactly
difficult to
what
do.
Ethan, very difficult, and that's what Ethan was going for.
Absolutely. It's probably why they decided to upgrade those only with the swing dance in afterwards, because it's really quite difficult to get a nice swing going out of the Yamawaki into a cleaner handstand opportunity for deduction. But, you know, done well, looks beautiful. And looks like we had William Bacchus from Simpson finishing up on horse. Another dismount that went the wrong way, but a hit is a hit on horse, and Simpson's still going to want that routine.
And just rounding out the floor exercise was Nathan Underhill, the freshman phenom from Cal Berkeley.
And Nathan's got MPSF Freshman of the Week, even CGA Freshman of the Week, and it looks to be a good season for the freshman from Cal there.
Last but not least, Sergei Popov up for Greenville. Started off his collegiate career on a Gym Act program, the Texas Armadillos, before joining Greenville.
Some nice strength skills there. Another one of those Yamawakis swinging into a handstand, fights for the handstand but gets to a stable position. Love to see that.
And another stuck dismount.
Very nice. You'll notice sometimes on rings, these guys with more strength elements in their rings routine might go for a little bit more of a lower difficulty dismount, but go for that stick, and that's what Sergey was doing there and executed well. Simpson finishes up on horse from Noah. Exhibition spot, that fifth spot. Won't count for the team, but good hit for himself.
And I think that just wraps up the third rotation. We're at the halfway point. And we'll see how things have settled in.
Looks like we have our final standings on floor exercise. Jaxon Clapper from Greenville takes home the floor title today with that 13-3 score, aided by that 8.5 execution. So saw a lot of sticks out of him. We also see Tucker Yasunaga, who was going for that golden sombrero, and the evidence is there in that 8.55 execution score there. And then rounding out our leaderboard on floor is Kyler Hinson with a 13-2. And he got the stick on that dismount. So that definitely pushed him into that bronze level position.
Pommel horse led by California in spots 1 and 2, Jasper Smith Gordon and Harry Kim, both fielding above a 5.0 difficulty and an 8.75 and an 8.5 difficulty, respectively. That's impressive. In third place is Kyler Hinson from Greenville.
For rings,
Finally
we
on ring.
have a sweep from Cal. Troy Nuesca with a 13.25 stays in first place. Look at that 9.45 execution. That's huge
Wow.
for them on rings. Yeah. 3.7 difficulty, so a little lower difficulty, but clearly taking home the title with a 9.45 execution. Happy about that. Jackson Mitchell with a 13.2, and Theo rolled Godarud with a 13.15.
And look at those stick bonuses.
Yep.
Clean
Good to see.
routines with a stuck dismount. That's the meta.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll notice Troy is another one of those guys that did the full twisting double back, a little lower difficulty dismount, but well controlled and hit the stick. So obviously the ball don't lie. Got that first place roll. Looks like the athletes are waiting to start their warm up on their fourth rotation events. We have Cal going up on the parallel bars. We'll have Greenville on vault and Simpson Storm on the horizontal bar. Moving into these next three events, we'll see some high flying gymnastics from gymnasts on horizontal bar, and some big skills on vault as well. I know, Yaro, you were quite good on vault. Can you tell us a little bit about your go-to vault and your experience there?
Absolutely. I love talking about vault. It's the fastest event. I think it's the most exciting event, most intricate event. You're running full force at the stationary object and propelling yourself as well and clean as you can. And my go-to was a handspring double front, the Roche. Tried to upgrade to a Dragolescu or the Blahnik in the pike position. Never really panned out for me, but we've been seeing some fantastic Sukahara and Kazumatsu style vaults this year, and I expect some big scores today.
Absolutely. Yeah, vault was never my forte. I was trying to get that handspring double front among other vaults, and I got pretty close, but definitely didn't have the power that you had. So excited to see what the kind of power and technique the athletes are working with here today.
high bar is going to be a big mix of intricate handwork, stalders and endos, and high-flying releases. No, I was never a high bar guy. Noah, could you tell us a little bit about what goes through your mind as you're 12, 15 feet in the air above this metal pole that's just waiting to catch you?
Yeah, I think well for me the number one thing was staying connected to the bar itself. You'll see these gymnasts go for these big releases, and it's high risk, high reward there. So if you're going for these bigger releases, more risk of maybe not catching the bar, but when you connect, it's huge for the athletes. My go-to releases were the Tkachevs. I only got the straddle and the pike. The pike Tkachev was actually one added recently within the past few years for men's gymnastics, and I like the look of a nice pike Tkachev. We'll see a bunch of athletes do that here today. I believe we'll see some Kovac style releases as well. That's the double flipping backwards over the bar. Those are always exciting to watch as well.
And some more old school skills like the Ganger and the Jaeger have been making a comeback after getting a bit of a boost from the gymnastics governing body. I think we'll see some
And
more
what are your
variety.
thoughts? What are your thoughts, Yarrow, on the more variety of releases we see on High Bar today?
I've been enjoying it. Following the NCAA this season, I've seen Gangers. I haven't seen a Def yet, but I hope one's in the making. Jaegers, full twisting Jaegers. Whereas just a couple of years ago, you'd see 3 Kovacs and a Tkachev. Now people are doing 3 different types of release elements. I think it's fun.
Yeah, really, I've been enjoying watching it. I think one connection we've been seeing recently as well is that Takamoto half connected to it could be a Gengar or a Kovacs element or Tkachev. Definitely seeing a lot more of that, and I always love watching those because it's a perfect combination of technique and form, but also being able to generate power in the release move directly after. So yeah, one of my favorite connections there in any form.
All right, that was the 2-minute buzzer. Second half of the event is about to get underway. Starting off with Ricky Mays on vault for Greenville.
Another one of those guys with a huge 2.5 twisting Kazumatsu vault. This will be exciting.
Wow. Big height, big distance, well-controlled landing. And that's
Absolutely
just your start
huge.
off.
Yeah, excited to see what else Greenville has in store on vault for us. I know Ricky Mays is one of those guys that was an NCAA finalist on this event and clearly shows here. Like
Nice little
starting us off
chant.
on T-bars and high bar will be Troy Nueska from Cal and Milo Staley from Simpson on horizontal bar. Excuse me. Troy's one of those guys on P-bars that likes to do a lot of those swinging elements, those handstand elements. He exhibits great control there. Good P-bar watch. Good P-bar routine to watch. 1.5 twisting Diam.
Beautiful set. Just flowing right through it.
Yeah, one thing to look out for on these P-bar routines is the lack of movement from your hands once you're in that handstand position. Every time you move your hands, even the slightest bit, it's a 1/10 deduction there. So a routine like that where Troy seems to be flowing through his skills, not moving his hands too much. It's a good sign of a great P-bar worker. So we see Milo on high bar.
There's that Ganger release move. Gymnastics is a lot about big skills, but I also like the little subtleties. Did you see that after the kip, he hopped into a double undergrip? You don't see that too often.
Yeah. No, I love when athletes do that. Definitely cool. Exhibits definitely a different level of control over the event and a level of comfort too. So style points to Milo for that.
Oh, what a clean cause 1.5 from Jaxon. Just a 1/10 little hop.
Just
But do you think his foot went out of bounds? I couldn't tell.
just barely on the line. I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess we'll see from that score, but he's definitely going to be happy about that. Just the smallest little hop. So we see Tucker start off on P bars. Nice line there.
Oh, Makoots.
One of the riskier elements on P bars, but he does it well.
Did you ever play
Tucker's
around with
moving
that
through
skill?
this. Yeah, I did. Definitely one of those skills that I love the aesthetic look of. And high value too. It's rated at an E value, 5/10. I played around with it. I was able to do it with mats on the bar, but never able to do it in routine in any way. So, props to Tucker for executing such a clean one in this set. Wow, huge 2.5 for Logan Watterson on vault. He's going to be happy about that. He's another one of those athletes. I was actually club teammates with him at Woga in Texas, and it's very cool to see him competing here in the NCAA, doing his thing with a huge 2.5 nonetheless.
That's 4 for 4 great vaults from Greenville. 55.8 total. That's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, that's massive. I expect we'll see a lot of them in the one of them to maybe taking home the event title if Al or Simpson has anything to do with it.
Takamoto half right to the handstand on high bar. Oh, high flying Takachev laid out.
Nice open position in that layout, Kachev. Like to see that. Some athletes you can see some piking in their body as they go over the bar, but Jake did a great job of staying open as he gears up for his dismount.
And stuck double-double.
That was very nice. We see Kai and Orion on P bars
Ooh, steps to
doing a
one
lot of these
bar.
handstand elements. You don't see too many of those either.
Oh, just couldn't get his feet under him.
The double front dismount on P bar is definitely tricky, especially after a long routine like that. Trying to get that double front around can be really difficult. Almost had it though. Something to work on for Kyan, but I have no doubt that he'll be hitting that nice set in this season. Yeah, I know. So for P bars, you can do either double flipping forwards or double flipping backwards. When you competed P bars, did you have your preference there?
When I competed P-bars, no, we both know P-bars nearly ended my career. I was a double backflipping guy. You seem like you had a good double front.
Yeah, I was doing the double backs through high school and then switched through double front. I think both of us are, I think air awareness wise, double front guys, and that worked out for me on P bars in particular.
Oh, another Takamoto half right to the handstand from Brian Rollison. Big cone. Oh, no. Just couldn't hold on. Move over to the
He
P-bars, where Theo has a very exciting routine. I'm looking forward
P-Bar's,
to this next bit.
he sits down that. Unfortunately, on that, when you sit down that skill in particular, you lose credit for that. But Theo's got some big skills lined up to make up for that here.
There it is. Front uprise to front 1.25 to a front uprise to a double front.
Extremely difficult connection there. You don't see a lot of guys putting those two skills together, but and you don't get any credit for that. I know that within gymnastics circles, there was some talk about adding a connection bonus to P-bar skills for skills like that where you do them in tandem. And I personally would like to see that happen because the routines like Theo's right there would get a nice little bump. You see Brian get back onto the bar. It looks like he might have landed a little awkwardly, but it's great to see him back up and finishing out this routine.
Absolutely shows you the resilience these guys go through.
And repeats the skill, which takes a lot of mental strength to do, especially after a scarier fall like that.
And again, just couldn't keep his hands on the bar. Just a little bit too far.
Yeah, shame. Those Tkachev, his technique on those and the height that he was getting, they were looking like great Tkachev. So much like his double dismount on rings, the technique is there, you know. So we're gonna look to see Brian finish up a nice clean routine for Simpson here.
You know, it's hard to travel and you're competing on different equipment week after week. Did you ever find yourself thinking about how the equipment is affecting your routine?
Definitely, especially an event like high bar too. You can have different levels of tension. Just missed the landing on that dismount as well. But we're going to want to see Brian do a mental reset, and his teammates are most definitely going to be there to support him every step of the way. But yeah, going back to the equipment, I think high bar is one of those events where from venue to venue, the equipment can change. The tension in the bar is key, especially for those release moves. We saw Brian go for that Kovacs element, and the tension on that bar is really key for that element and something to work out during the warm ups. So being able to compete that skill means also being able to get used to different events and apply your technique to different levels of tension, which is respectable. I know Vault's another one of those events where it can be a little different from location to location. Yara, you have any experience with that?
Yeah, everywhere you go, the springs are just a little bit different, and some guys like stiffer springs, some guys like looser springs. The springs in the table itself, which a lot of people don't think about, vary location to location. Even how the vault table is bolted into the ground, or if it's weighed down by a lead weight. All these things affect how your body responds to the equipment. It really goes to show you that gymnastics is as much of a mental sport as it is physical.
Definitely.
Paul Tiedemann rounding out the four competing scores for Simpson.
Looks to be gearing up for big release here.
And a connected release.
Wow. Executed well.
That was a lovely jam.
Straight to the handstand position. That's exactly what you want to see on this skill.
And a Russian giant, which we don't see too often these days. And a stuck dismount.
Nice stick.
Now, we just watched his teammate Brian have to get back up a couple of times. What's going on in Paul's mind after seeing his teammate?
Yeah, I think Paul's definitely seeing his teammate wants to be there to support him, but needs to do his job as the anchor on high bar and get the team back on track for this meet. And he does that extremely well, not only with a nice clean set, but throwing in some difficult connection skills in there. So props to Paul for executing that. And you saw just after that routine, Brian come up and embrace him in support. So you love to see that veteran mindset from Brian of being able to be there and support his teammates despite a high bar set he might not be happy with, but really goes to show how mentally strong he is.
There's
Looks like we
not
have an
many
exhibition routine.
there's not many great ways to build mental strength, so it goes a long way when guys are able to support each other like that.
Absolutely. Yara, did you have any I guess techniques or ways for you to maintain that mental strength during a competition?
Treating each event as its own thing. Back when I competed, we had 15 guys can compete to do 30 routines. Everyone does their own little job and just trying not to let what happened to one person affect the next.
Definitely.
Gearing up for another release. Oh, a little bit close to the bar. Oh, but he's
Looks like
staying on.
might have messed up the kip up there, but staying on the bar, resetting halfway through the set, gearing up for dismount here. Under rotated the dismount there a
Just
little bit.
under-rotated.
Again, that was an exhibition routine from Noah, so it won't count towards the team score there. But we saw some great stuff from Noah.
And it looks like that wraps up rotation number 4.
On vault, looks like we have our leaderboard filled up by Greenville now. Number in the first place position, we have Jaxon Clapper with a 14:05. That was the vault, if we recall, just barely hopped. Looks like his foot didn't end up going outside that line. You see no red N marked next to his score. If his foot had stepped outside of that line we saw on the mat there, you would see a neutral deduction. That's what that N stands for. And depending on the severity, you'd get a range. But looks like he kept it within the lines with a small hop. So you see the evidence there in that nice 14:05 score, followed up by Logan Watterson with a 14 just under Jackson's score. And then Ricky Mays and Michael Avery rounding out the vaults with 13.9 and 13.85 respectively. You see Michael Avery there at the bottom had a 14.4 start value, but still keeping up with these other guys due to his execution.
Cal, led by Tucker and Troy, with a 12.95 and a 12.85 respectively. Some mistakes throughout the rotation, but they're bouncing back, and they've got 2 more events to show us what they've got.
Really. And on high bar, we have Simpson, Paul Tiedemann, who anchored that lineup after Brian's routine with a 13.4. High score for high bar. And look at that execution score, 8.9. Really nice job by Paul. Followed up by Milo Staley with an 11.9, Jake Smith with an 11.5, Brian with a 9.55, and Noah with a 9.25. Those last 2 routines with falls, but really goes to show how much it matters to stay locked in after a fall and finish up. And I think Simpson benefited from that from high bar. You know,
The 2-minute touch is underway. All right, I think we're all set for the 5th rotation.
Yeah, I always enjoy watching vault warm-ups, especially during this short one-touch period. It's interesting to see how, especially the guys with the bigger vaults, how they tend to warm up because it's pretty difficult to go just jump right into a huge vault that requires a lot of focus. So see some guys doing simple tucked 1.5s, just simple kazamatsus, stuff like that to really feel the table and the springs and know where they are at in the air.
And some of these guys
Yara, what
know
was?
what... Oh, sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Some of these guys like Noah Dorian and Milo Staley, they've been competing all day. But then you've got Jake Smith and Braxton Jones who haven't been up in a couple of events, if at all, today. Getting just the one touch is always a challenging move. Personally, I like to warm up with the hamstring pike and then just a standing front tuck stick. But these guys are probably moving around the whole time in the background that we just don't see them doing.
It's definitely something you have to work on as an athlete. If you're waiting a few events to compete, you got to figure out your own little ways of staying warm, making sure you're not going cold, your muscles getting stiff, because that's a risk for injury, and also doesn't lead to as good of an execution. You know, when you're warming up and actively competing, your body's supposed to be warm, so you want to replicate that and make sure that you're loose and ready to go. I like to. I know the guys on the team at Cal like to carry around a pair of parallettes, get some bungees going, just anything with a little bit of resistance, or to mock the feeling that you get when you're competing, doing skills.
A really nice landing from Noah Dorian on vault. Good way to start off the rotation for Simpson.
Nice. We have Kyler Hinson starting Greenville off on parallel bars. Wise up to handstand. Very nice job there.
Peach to support,
Here's
making sure his body is above horizontal.
done well there. Looks like Kyler's a Peach guy, doing 2 back-to-back Peach elements on the parallel bars.
And
Nice
other
stick.
stuff dismount.
And a double front stick, too. Blind landings, definitely harder to stick. So props to Kyler for putting that down right there. So we see Jackson Mitchell prepare to go on high bar. Watch out for this routine. Jackson is a super high-flying athlete on these Tkachev elements. I like Jackson's style on high bar as well, as he does that hop that we've seen earlier from another athlete.
Oh, right to handstand.
Love to see that.
Excellent body
Huge
position on the
layout.
bar. Very nice.
You can almost see him look for the bar far before his hands actually reach towards it. It's a great sign of some good Tkachevs there.
Showing off his grip strength with all the one-arm work. The Zuliman and the one-arm giant. And a double
Nice
twisted
double
double
dismount. We saw Jackson there do the pirouette straight into the one-arm giant. That's a technique that a lot of athletes like to use to mitigate some of the deductions that you get from these angles that you can hit on pirouetting elements. By going right into that one arm, you can kind of trick the judges into thinking that angle is not as bad. And honestly, Jackson's right there would have been great either way.
Moving back to the parallel bars with Sergei Popov. Hamna. I think that's the first Hamna we've seen today on the P bars.
Nice. Sergey showing good control. Very high, front 1.25. See him moving his hands there just a little bit to adjust the handstand. While sometimes necessary to make sure you're in a good position to start off your skill, definitely going to want to keep those to a minimum. Another stick. Wow.
Greenville is on a roll here.
Absolutely. We see
That's that
Kalen
home
Curry
field
go on high
advantage.
bar. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I believe this is Kalen's first time competing
Ooh.
high bar this season. German Giants, rare skill to see. Nice double-double. Almost stuck it. He's happy about that.
And
We
if he
just
weren't
saw a
looking off,
huge stuck vault.
wow. It was excellent. I think he landed with 1 foot out of bounds, but the stick makes up for it.
Definitely. That was Braxton Jones from Simpson. One of those guys I pointed out on floor. A huge floor vault guy, and he shows it there.
Back to the parallel bars with Donovan Deviney.
Donovan was one of my club teammates in high school, and I can attest he's a super hard worker and one of the senior athletes being recognized here today at Greenville. Great P-bar and high bar worker.
Great swing. Lovely Makoots, but pauses on that one rail for just a little longer than the judges would like. Fights to stay on his
Nice
feet.
working on the dismount. Yeah, a little under rotated, but kept it on his feet. Couple steps. That's going to be a good score. Nice talk half there from Troy on high bar. Troy likes to get some nice height on these skills.
Looks like a big triple back, but just couldn't pull it all the way around to his feet.
All right, I think Troy looks like one of those gymnasts likes to go big on his skills. That's going to pay off this season for sure.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what this routine will be in just a couple of months.
Definitely. Looks like we have Jaxon Clapper rounding out the P-bar lineup here for Greenville. He flies into a nice peach half element. That's something you don't see too often in the NCAA men's gymnastics space either, and he does it really well, followed up by another huge skill, Makoots, one of those risk reward. He didn't pause quite as long on that one rail, and he'll get rewarded for that. Gearing up for a dismount. Very nice.
And
huge stick.
Another stick from Greenville. I think that's 3 for 4.
If I'm not mistaken, that was 3 double fronts, all blind landings, but 3 sticks for Greenville on P-bars. That is huge for their senior meet. Got a little bit close there on the Coleman, but did his best to work out of it. Now moving quite well through this routine. Tucker's a really quick and dynamic gymnast, as you can see here by his release moves. Nice finish for Tucker. I believe that was the last one for rotation 5 in this competition. So we'll see the event totals so far shortly. Oh, my mistake. We have an exhibition on P-bars for Kobe Cantu from Greenville. Yara, did you have any dream skills on any of these events that you wanted to compete? Maybe namely on high bar. I know a lot of gymnasts tend to have those release moves that they always wanted to get. For me, it was a casina.
So high bar, parallel bars, I avoided like the plague. I'm not gonna lie. All of my teammates were big parallel bar and high bar guys, and that just wasn't for me. Vaults always wanted to compete a Dragolescu or a Blahnik. Could never get it outside of our training gym. The casina, that's a really big skill. I think it's a G at this point. One of the highest rated
Hugely
skills.
difficult. You don't see that every day. I think the Dragolescu too. You almost never see that in NCAA. So to be so close is really impressive.
All right, and that's the end of the 5th rotation. We've got Greenville finishing up on parallel bars with a 52.8, led by Kyler Henson with a 13.0 and Sergey Popov. Oh, sorry, Jaxon Clapper, 13.8. That score came in. Oh, wow. That was a stuck routine. Sergey Popov, 13.15 with a stuck routine. Kyler with a stuck routine. What a great rotation for
Definitely
them.
huge. Yeah, the stuck dismounts really propelled them. That at least 3/10 added just in bonus, but that doesn't even count for the deductions you might get if you didn't stick the landing. So sticking is really key here.
That's
As
potentially
we
a full-point
take,
swing.
yeah, exactly. So could be the difference between a game winner, you know. Moving on to Cal and High Bar, we'll see their totals up. Nobody quite broke that 13 mark that you'd like to see on in these scores. But Jaxon got close with a 12.75, leading the Golden Bears, followed by Kalen Curry with a 12.4, Troy with a 12.15, and then we see Tucker Yasunaga with an 11.8. While it was a well executed routine, probably what took Tucker's score quite a little bit down was the after the Coleman element, having to kip back up and cast into the handstand. But that was a sky high Coleman that he's definitely going to hit later this season. Excited to see what that'll bring him.
And Simpson Storm with a excellent vault rotation, nice and steady, 13.25 from Noah, 13.1 from Milo, and a 13.1 from Jake, but then highlighted with a 14.45 stuck Kazumatsu 1.5 from Braxton. That's the score to beat today.
That's a massive score for Simpson on vault, 14.45. Only 3.5 tenths off. Although I guess technically 4.5. He did get that stick bonus, which nets him an additional 10. And then you also notice that he got that neutral deduction. They don't quite display it on the graphic here, but that his one of his legs definitely was outside of the lines on that. But still, what a massive score despite that.
That's the highest score of the meet so far.
As we move on into our final rotation of the meet, where we will see who is in first, who is on the leaderboard today. We have, with the total so far, we have Greenville with a 258.85 leading the way. Cal's got a 253.25. Simpson has got a 243.9. So Greenville extended the lead with those 3 sticks on P-bars this last rotation. Excited to see what this final rotation will bring us with the event totals.
Anything can happen on vault and high bar. As Noah mentioned at the beginning of the stream, Cal Berkeley does have the highest vault score in the nation, above a 56, I believe. And high bar is just one of those events where anything can happen. The competition isn't over till it's over.
Absolutely. Yaro, I know that you were a huge contributor on vault, and I think vault is one of those events that can really swing a competition. Can you talk a little bit about vault compared to the rest of the events in terms of scoring?
Yeah, vaults only has the one skill at a time. You can only take off so many deductions on one skill. There's different parts to the vault, of course, with the pre-flight and the post-flight and landing. But in the end, there's only so much you can do. Over time, the governing body of gymnastics has been slowly decreasing the start values of vaults to try to make them more equal and in line with what we see on other events. But as we see here, vault's still the high scoring event, oftentimes by several points. And we'll see what Cal will be able to do. Can they close the gap? Can they overcome what this lead that Greenville has? It'll be exciting.
Definitely. If they can hit that same nation high score of 56.65, they'll put themselves in a good place, give themselves a chance to take this meet. But Greenville's got quite a lead, so it'll be definitely interesting in the mix. Simpson's on track to score well too, and they look to increase their average for the season.
Oh. Unfortunate landing for Nathan Underhill on vault. He was so clean in the air. I don't know if I saw any deductions up until the landing.
Yeah, looked very clean in the air. Huge pop off the vault. Just couldn't get the rotation quite around. We see Noah Doiron on Simpson on the parallel bars, starting their last event off. Nice clean Moy element. We've seen a lot of gymnasts do the straddled version that is upgraded. He keeps his legs together there, but very clean. Nice double front dismount. Almost stuck the landing there. Slight under rotation, but he's happy about that.
These guys have figured out how to do double fronts off P-bars.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that's influenced that shift that we see in men's gymnastics is definitely the difficulty score. Double front's worth 5/10 versus a back double flipping elements. You could do the full twisting double back on parallel bars, but extremely difficult. Only, I think, a couple athletes do that in the NCAA. So a lot of people opt for the higher valued double front with a 5/10 difficulty score there. So we see a huge triple back from Jacob Foster on high bar.
Another skill
Great
that
lead
was
off.
upgraded.
Yeah, definitely seeing more and more of those triple backs. Another really difficult skill to do well on high bar in particular. You just fly so high into the air, doing so many rotations. It's hard to keep track of where you are in the air, but props to Jacob for putting down such a good one.
Ooh, giant Diamondov. Don't see that too much here.
A great job of that as well. Not too many adjustments in the hands. A steady press handstand for Paul on P-bars, gearing up for a dismount. Oh, a mistake. Just missed the dismount there. We saw a back toss from Paul. Another rare skill. Two rare skills for Paul on P-bars.
The creativity that's been going through the NCAA is very impressive and fun to watch.
Definitely. It's one of the key aspects of gymnastics I love is how individualistic it can be and how it can really be creative with how you construct your routines. We saw Caitlin Curry on vault hit a nice vault, but landed just outside those lines. Get a neutral deduction for that, but clean vault otherwise.
Michael Avery flying through his high bar set. And I don't see too many extra giants. Beautiful double-double.
Wow. That was nice.
Greenville on a roll.
Saw that vault from Jasper Smith Gordon on vault. Under rotated slightly. Looks like he had put a hand down there. That'll count as a fall. Unfortunate for the Golden Bears, but he had his guys there. Pick him back up. Jasper's known for being extremely clean, probably one of the cleanest gymnasts in pre-flight and in the air for vault. 2 weeks ago, scoring a 14.55 with a near stick. Didn't get to see that from him today, but I have no doubt that he'll be putting up massive scores on vault for the rest of the season.
Sometimes the day just doesn't go your way. How can he capitalize on this?
Yeah, I think definitely a learning opportunity here. As we watch Tyler Hinson go on high bar. Yeah, I think after a fall like that, especially on vault too, where it's only one skill, very short time period, it's really hard to lock in what you can learn. But in this instance, you could chalk it up to many different things. Could be it's a brand new environment. Cal's never competed uh, in Greenville before, so getting used to the equipment and the environment could have something to do with it. Definitely something to prep for next time. Just being aware of variety. See, Kyla Hinson put down a huge double-double there. Getting hype for his buddies.
Getting the crowd excited for the last routine of their senior night.
Getting down to our final two routines of the entire competition here. Looks like the final two athletes for Simpson and Greenville will be Sterling Pariza and Donovan Divini, respectively. I think that anchor position is a tough one for sure. You're expected to hit big and score well for the team. Yeah, you have anything to say about what kind of pressure that can be, and then how to deal with it?
I was just thinking, all the eyes are on you. It's a try meet, so usually the crowd is at least looking on someone else. But here, it's all going to come down to one person going. And it's
Especially on high bar too.
Yeah, relying on your training, trusting the process.
Definitely. Let's see. Donovan Divini here gearing up for a high bar set. Nice Takamoto half. near handstand.
Oh, and just couldn't get his hands around the bar.
Really close there. It's definitely one of those skills. Just could be just fingertips, and inches could decide whether it's a catch or a miss. But taking 30 seconds now, trying to reset, determine because he didn't catch that bar, he will not have credit for the skill if he doesn't choose to repeat it here. So one of the things that you really got to think about during that 30 seconds is, will I repeat the skill, or will I just go for move on from it and hit a clean set? So we'll see what Greenville has decided here. Looks like they elect to move on from it.
An excellent double-double.
Clapping for the fans in H.J. Long Gymnasium in the home crowd for his final meet at Greenville. An emotional moment for sure. I remember getting pretty emotional at my final senior meet, and can mean a lot to these guys. So shout out to them.
This is a brand new team. I think this is probably this is their fourth year here, so it's their first senior night potentially. And I wonder what sort of traditions they're going to build up over time. No, I know Cal Berkeley has a very unique senior night tradition.
That's right. We have we as part of our senior tradition, we like to have a little ceremony, which includes all the seniors receiving this wooden bear. Actually sitting right next to mine right now. It's like hand carved, quite substantial. Definitely a unique one. A testament to the time on the team. It's another big thing that I think having these new teams and new cultures start to develop is they have the liberty to build their own cultures, build their own legacy there, and kind of tell what the next generation is going to look like here at Greenville and back in Simpson.
Big release.
Huge.
We'll see the final scores in just a couple of minutes, but judging based on the crowd's reaction, I think Greenville might have gotten it.
As Kobe just under rotates his double dismount on high bar, really tries to fight for it, but hands went down there. But yeah, taking a look at these scores, 0.05 difference. We talked earlier today about being able to come back from a fall and finish out your routine well for your team, and that's exactly what Donovan did here. Fell on that Coleman, but if he didn't put down a clean set following up that fall, Greenville would not be in this upset position.
Every 10th counts. Every single 10th. And today shows it 306.65 for Greenville to 306.60 for Cal. Greenville put up a 47.8 on high bar, led by Michael Avery and Kyler Hinson's high flying routines.
On vault had a few falls or routines they wish to get back, but with that nation high score, they're definitely going to be a team to watch for the rest of the season on vault. Can really tell, I think for Cal, this is their first time traveling a distance for the season, and just being able to work through the kinks of traveling long distances, staying in a different environment. That's something to work on for the Bears for the rest of the season. A good learning opportunity for them. Something to bounce back from for sure.
And last but not least, Simpson putting up a 46.75 on the parallel bars, putting on a show with some very unique gymnastic skills.
Definitely. Yeah, on finally we go back to our first event, floor exercise, see the leaderboard there. Shout out Jaxon Clapper for Greenville winning team with the 13-3, taking home the floor title. Props to him. Um, like I said earlier, the high execution score on floor really key here. You can tell that's the difference between being top four and below. So these athletes will definitely be going back and working on those landings.
On pommel horse, in third place, we've got Kyler Hinson of Greenville with a 13.5. I think the highest execution on, well, just the second highest execution on a horse with an 8.9. And then rounding out the top two, California, Harry Kim with a 13.6, and Jasper Smith Gordon takes the lead with a 13.75. High difficulty, high execution, beautiful gymnastics.
Absolutely. On still rings, we see that California sweep. Troy Nuesca taking home the title with a 13.25 and that 9.45 execution score and stick bonus. So really checking all the boxes there. Jackson Mitchell with a 13.2 taking the second place position. Higher difficulty set with a 4.9. He's rewarded there. Theo rolled Goddard from Cal, 13.15 to take the third place position. Another high execution score, 9.05, and a stick bonus as well. We saw him do that lay half dismount with a stick. That was really nice to watch.
On vault, we've got Logan Watterson of Greenville in third place with a 14.0. Gosh, when a vault that good is only getting third, you know that the competition's fantastic. Second place teammate Jaxon Clapper with the 14.05, just edging him out. And winning the vault title, Braxton Jones of Simpson with a massive 14.45. I think the only stuck vault and also the highest execution. What a combination.
Really impressive. On parallel bars, we see a Greenville sweep here. Jaxon Clapper with a 13.8. We saw a really nice routine from him. And look at that execution score of 8.8 and stick bonus. You'll see all top three guys with a stick on P bars. Hard to do. Sergey Popov, 13.15 to take the second place position. And Kyler Hinson with a 13.0 to take third. Really impressive stuff. Those sticks were really the difference between, sweeping the podium and not. So you see the impact that a stick really can have.
Moving on to high bar, got all three teams on the podium. In third place, Michael Avery of Greenville with a 12.5, the stuck dismount. Second place, from Cal Berkeley, Jackson Mitchell, 12.75. And running away with the lead on this one, of Paul Tiedemann of Simpson College with a 13.4. Massive execution of 8.9 and the stuck bonus to capitalize on his 4.4 difficulty. Good work.
Simpson really taking home 2 event titles today. It's really impressive work from them. They've definitely got something cooking back in Iowa. See the event totals and the team totals here. Greenville taking first place on their senior night at home, 306.65. They're going to be really happy about this one. Not only is it a home win against a ranked team above them, but for their senior guys, really true impact. Second place, Cal with a 306.6, just half a tenth underneath Greenville here. Stuff to work on, but they're going to be happy about some highlights from today's meet. And then Simpson in third place with a 290.65. Good showing from them, taking home 2 event titles. Props to Simpson as well.
What a great competition, start to finish. Very exciting.
Yeah, I think a highlight for me was definitely some of those unique routines from Simpson on P bars. You like to see that giant Diom and that back toss. Just like to see some style and unique points in P bars. That was a highlight for me. What about you, Yarrow? Do you have any highlights from today's meet?
I've just loved watching the entire competition start to finish. Exciting. The first place switching off several times throughout the competition. Nail biter down to the end, and just watch the guys have fun. Getting when they fall, they get back up. The team supporting each other. What a great sportsmanship demonstration.
Absolutely. Yeah, you highlighted the lead changes happening throughout the meet, and that's really rare. I feel like for men's gymnastics, especially in the NCAA, just due to the nature of our scoring system, it's easy to kind of have teams establish a lead and stay on. So to have a meet where you're kind of going back and forth between the top two positions is especially exciting to watch.
All right. Well, that's the end of the meet. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. I'm Yaroslav Pachinka,
I'm Noah Neufeld.
and it's been a pleasure being able to commentate this competition. Hope to see more in the future and looking forward to the future of men's gymnastics.